surprise, I'm not perfect. And I thought, you know, why not talk about all the things I've done wrong? I think I was about 4 and my brother and I were playing Hot Wheels. Like we had this little like plastic mat that had a racetrack on it. We had these little Hot Wheel cars and my brother had a pink convertible and I wanted to play with his convertible, but he didn't want to let me play with it. So I took his arm and I bit him, but I bit him so hard that he started bleeding and there was like, it's not funny. There were like teeth marks on his arm. And that's the only time in my life that I've ever gotten spanked. And yeah, he had like scabs for weeks that you could see. It's not funny. Me and movies have always been like this. Like I've always been a huge movie buff. And I think I watched a bunch of movies when I was in kindergarten. And I kept seeing people like kissing in them. And so I was curious. I wanted to kiss someone. So this little boy that was like a friend of mine. And I pulled him into the bathroom one day after school. And I kissed him. And then I went to sit outside to wait for my mom and the teacher came up to me and she asked me, she's like, what were you doing in the bathroom? I'm like, oh, I kissed him. And then they had to have a parent-teacher conference with my mom and the principal and everybody. Yeah, my mom thought I was going to be a prostitute and I didn't know what that meant. Yeah, now I'm a total prude, so it's kind of funny. Also in kindergarten, I had a little boy that kept ripping my dress, like in my clothing. I'd be on the playground and he literally like come up and like rip my clothes. So my dad said next time that he goes to like rip your clothing, just punch him. And we practiced. He like showed me how to punch. And it was like the next day and he went to rip my dress and I punched him so hard that it turned black underneath his eyes and his nose is bleeding. I went to the principal's office again. I'm only in kindergarten. And we were at the grocery store later that night and this little boy was like tugging on his mom's shirt and he's like, Mom, that's the girl that beat up the boy at school. Like all through grade school, I was left alone. There was only one grocery store in the town that I grew up in because it was really, really small. And we were at the grocery store and we were in line checking out. I don't know what my mom was buying, but like where they had like the, you know, they have like the gum and the magazines. Well, they had these trading cards that had like bubble gum in the center. I was 6 and I literally opened the package and like stuck it in my shirt and then started chewing, like took out the gum and started chewing it. So we get out the parking lot and my mom does not like, she didn't let me chew gum growing up. She thought it was habit forming. I have no clue. So I was like chewing the gum. My mom's like, where'd you get that gum? She's like, Brittani Taylor, tell me right now. And I like showed her the packet. So we had to go back into the store and pay for it. I mean, I didn't really understand the concept of stealing. I was 6, but yeah, I stole gum from the grocery store. In 4th grade, I got in 2 more fights, and one of them, we were playing hopscotch, and this other like big like bully girl wanted to play, but we were already like playing it. So we got in a little scuffle and she ripped out my hair and I took my nails and like skinned her hands. I was so violent. And then this other girl, she pulled my hair and I punched her. But that's like that's the last time. I promise you, after 4th grade, I was just wild, a freaking wild child. My poor mother, she used to be like, these gray hairs are because of you. I turned out good, but I was a tear. Oh, in junior high, this is so bad. I don't know if you guys know what fire newts are. They're like these little cute lizards, but they have to be in water. Like you can take them out and play with them, but they have to go back into their tank, like their fish tank or whatever. So I was playing with my brother's fire newt one day and I just like put it on the bed and I forgot about it and it like dried up and it died. It was on my brother, actually it was on my brother's bed. So he comes home from school, we hear this scream and we go downstairs and like Blake's crying. He's like, oh my God, and his little party, it was like, I killed it. I'm laughing because I want to cry because it was oh, I killed a fire newt. And when I was 16, my dad had this old Land Rover and it was such a lemon. I had a bad feeling about it when he went to buy it, but yeah, total lemon. Well, basically the car, every time you turn right, would stop. So you'd have to plan all your driving by left turns. Like it'd have to be like big, like you could turn a little bit, but if you went to like turn into a driveway or turn like fully right, like the car would just die. It's like, I'm not joking. Like we had to plan like left turns in the car. And so, and also it went faster in reverse than it did going forward. And the way our garage was, I would park on this side and my parents' car was on that side. So my dad had parked his car behind, in front of where I needed to pull into the garage. So I went to move his car forgot that it goes faster in reverse, and I like just touched the pedal, it shot backwards, and it went up the wall and through the neighbor's fence, and like, so the car was like this. And my mom and dad were down feeding the horses, and I come running down the driveway. I'm like, Mom, Dad, I backed the car through the fence. And they weren't mad at all. They thought it was so funny. Like, here, like, there's like smoke coming, so I'm crying, it's so funny. There's like smoke coming out of the car, like yeah, our neighbors loved us. Speaking of cars, I hit my dad head on in the driveway. Oh, my life is not boring. There's this tree that like literally my dad almost hit the UPS driver the day before, and my mom was like, Robert, cut down that tree. So of course the next day I had a really old Mercedes, and I was coming up the driveway, and literally he had a old Land Cruiser, and like just crushed the front end of my car, and I was in total shock. I had like burns on my arms from the airbag, and I was like, just like, I need to go to tennis practice, and my mom's like, 911. See, I'm not perfect. I have done a lot of things wrong in my life, and oh, if I had a time machine. But no, I mean, I feel like even though I don't make the same mistakes, I just make different ones, and that's what life's about. You're always learning and growing and screwing up. But I want to know, what are some things that you have done wrong? Let's just bond through our mutual shame and pain. And I love you guys, and please, you know, I don't know, comment, video response, like, favorite, subscribe, love, be my best friends, because I adore you guys, and I love making videos, and yes, and thank you for being a part of my life, and have an amazing, blessed day, and I'm going to